3 days before the wedding, scrolling through my local Instagram feed, I saw a video of my fiancée dancing intimately with a stranger. "Enjoying the moment. Freedom is beautiful," was her caption. My phone slipped from my fingers, hitting the newly laid carpet in our new place. The screen stayed lit, showing the woman I'd loved for 5 years grinding against a stranger, a smile on her face I'd never seen before. Her hand rested on his shoulder, her eyes glazed over, a slight smile playing on her lips. She told me she was going to Austin for a business trip this weekend, but the background in the video was unmistakably the newest nightclub in our city. I even recognized one of her college friends in a corner near the bar. With trembling fingers, I typed 3 words in the comments: "You're free now." Then, I liked the post. Clicking on her profile, I realized this wasn't the first time. Over the past 3 months, during every one of her supposed business trips, she'd posted similar videos. Sometimes it was intimate pictures with the same guy, other times champagne celebrations in fancy hotels. Our wedding portrait hung on the living room wall, her in a white dress, beaming with happiness. In the photo, my arm was around her waist, looking like I had the whole world. What a joke. Suddenly my phone buzzed. An iMessage from her: "Honey, I'll be back tomorrow. Miss you so much. Have you decided on the cake flavor?" I stared at the message for a full 5 minutes before replying. "Yeah, decided. Whichever one you want is fine." Putting the phone down, I walked to the closet and took out the suit I had ready. The deep red bow tie was still in its box. She'd picked it out herself. "Red represents our love. Always passionate," she'd said at the time. Looking back now, maybe she just loved the pretense. I picked up the phone and called the wedding planner. "Hi, I need to cancel the wedding in 3 days. I'll cover all the costs." The person on the other end was clearly shocked by my decision and started asking a bunch of questions. I just calmly repeated, "Please cancel it. Thank you." After hanging up, I opened my laptop and logged into our shared cloud drive. It held all our photos, videos, and plans from the past 5 years. I looked through them one by one, from the awkwardness when we first met to the sweetness later on. Every moment had once felt so precious. The newest folder, created just last week, was labeled Honeymoon Plans. Inside were the Maui hotel reservations, 2 plane tickets booked side by side, and her list of must-see spots. I closed the folder, logged out, and shut the laptop. That night, I didn't cry. I didn't break down. I didn't even call her to demand an explanation. I just sat on the sofa, watching the moon rise in the east and disappear behind the clouds in the west. By sunrise, I had made my decision. We met in a pretty ordinary way. 5 years ago, at a company mixer. She was a new planner in the marketing department. I was a product manager in tech. Her colleagues were pressuring her to drink, and her face was flushed red. I handed her a glass of lemonade, and she smiled at me. That smile, I remember it so clearly. Her eyes curved into crescents, and she had a little dimple by the corner of her mouth. Natural, understated, yet it made my heart skip a beat. The courtship that followed just fell into place naturally. I wasn't good with words, but I showed my affection through actions, offering her a ride home after work, saying it was on my way, fixing her broken computer, remembering all her favorite foods and colors. 3 months later, late one night, while working overtime, I mustered the courage to take her hand. She didn't pull away. She just gently squeezed back. "Ethan Miller, you're really special," she said. "You make me feel cherished." After that, we were like any other ordinary couple. Sweet moments, arguments, and making up. On our first anniversary, I gave her a watch with our names engraved on the inside of the band. The second year, we moved in together, starting our little home. The third year, her parents visited, and she proudly introduced me to them. The fourth year, during a trip, I got down on one knee, and she tearfully said yes. I thought I knew her completely. She liked purple, but never bought purple clothes. She worried about gaining weight, but could never resist sweets. She got so scared watching horror movies she'd hide under the covers, but insisted on finishing them anyway. Her habits, preferences, temper, I thought I knew them like the back of my hand. But now, it seems, I knew nothing about her at all. I picked up my phone and opened the location app. Just as I suspected, she wasn't in Austin. She was at the Hilton Hotel downtown. She was the one who insisted we both turn this feature on last year after she lost her phone. "This way, we'll never lose each other," she'd said. How ironic. I opened my contacts and found Scarlet White's best friend, Jessica Wong. When she answered, I got straight to the point. "Jessica, I saw the Instagram video. Who's the guy?" There were a few seconds of silence on the other end, then a sigh. "Ethan, so you found out. Tell me the truth, Jessica. How long?" "About half a year. His name is Ryan Ford. He's a major client of Scarlett's company." Her voice was low, as if she was hesitant about something. I tried talking her out of it many times. She always said it was just a fling, that it wouldn't affect the wedding. Half a year, right when I got promoted and work started getting crazy busy, right when her business trips suddenly became more frequent. Thank you for telling me, I said calmly. Ethan, I'm so sorry. What are you going to do? It's okay. I'll handle it. After hanging up, I opened my laptop and searched for the name Ryan Ford. His information came up quickly. VP at some investment firm, 30 years old, known as a finance whiz. On social media, he was always surrounded by beautiful women, his demeanor screaming arrogance and frivolity. Looking at his picture, something clicked. What he could give Scarlet White were luxury goods, fancy hotels, chauffeured cars. Things I never cared about, but perhaps she had always craved. I closed the laptop and picked up my phone to email my company, requesting a 2-week leave. Then I opened my banking app and checked the funds set aside for the wedding. All the money was in my account because Scarlet White had said she wasn't good with finances and trusted me to manage it all. I managed a small smile and started canceling all the wedding-related bookings one by one. The dress shop, the hotel, the officiant, the band, the honeymoon. With each cancellation, I felt the tightness in my chest ease just a little. All the refunds were returned directly to the original payers. The portion her family paid went back to Mr. White Sr. The portion I paid went back to my own account. Precise, clean, nothing more, nothing less. At 9 that evening, an iMessage came from Scarlet White. Honey, something came up last minute here. I probably won't be back until the day after tomorrow. Don't miss me too much. I replied, okay, stay safe. Then I opened my resume, updated it with my latest project experience, and added a note, seeking new job opportunities. I knew exactly what I was doing. This wasn't an impulsive act, but a carefully considered decision. Loving someone can make you blind, but leaving someone requires absolute clarity. For the next 2 days, I handled everything with surprising composure. During the day, I went to work as usual, smiling through my colleagues' wedding wishes. No one knew I'd already called off the wedding, nor did anyone notice the devastation beneath my calm exterior. In the evenings, I returned home and began packing my things. Books, clothes, electronics. After 5 years together, our belongings were completely intertwined. I patiently sorted through it all, setting her things neatly aside and packing mine into suitcases. I didn't tell anyone my plans, not out of shame or weakness, but because I knew this was between her and me. It didn't need an audience, didn't need intervention, and certainly didn't need pity. On the morning of the 3rd day, the day before our scheduled wedding, I received an iMessage from her. Honey, I'm coming back this afternoon. Want to go for our wedding cake tasting tonight? I didn't reply. Around noon, I contacted a real estate agent and set up a meeting for the afternoon. We bought this apartment together 2 years ago. I put down more for the deposit, but both our names are on the deed. At 3 in the afternoon, I sat in the conference room of the real estate agency, a stack of documents spread out before me. Mr. Miller, are you sure you want to sell the apartment? The agent asked, glancing sideways at my expression. The market's decent, but selling quickly might mean taking a bit of a loss. I'm sure, I replied. Price isn't the main issue. Speed is. If the sale can be finalized within 2 weeks, I'm willing to accept 30% off below market value. His eyes lit up. That's great. I actually have several clients looking in this area right now. I'll contact them immediately. Thanks. There's still some furniture and other items in the apartment. The new owner can keep them if they want. Otherwise, I'll dispose of them. After signing the listing agreement, I went back to the apartment. In the living room, our wedding portrait still hung prominently on the wall. I took it down, carefully removed the photo, placed it in a manila envelope, and tossed the empty frame into a trash bag. At exactly 6 o'clock, the sound of the lock turning. Scarlet White was home. Ethan, I'm back. Her voice was as sweet as ever, as if it were just any other day. Huh, why are all the curtains drawn? And no lights on? I sat on the sofa, silent. She flipped on the living room light and froze, seeing the floor covered in suitcases and boxes. What? What's going on? Her eyes swept the room. Where are you going? I looked up at her. She was wearing a dress I hadn't seen before, her makeup perfect, new earrings dangling from her lobes. A flicker of panic crossed her eyes, but she quickly composed herself. I saw it, I said, my voice surprisingly calm. Saw what? She blinked, feigning confusion. I took out my phone, pulled up the Instagram video, and held it out for her to see. The video showed her dancing intimately in the arms of a stranger, pausing on a frame of her throwing her head back in laughter. The color drained from her face instantly. It's not what you think, Ethan. It was just a work thing, entertaining a client. I had to. Ryan, 30 years old, comes from money, Garage full of Lamborghinis and Ferraris, a different girl every week, loves clubbing and golf. I cut her off coldly. You two started seeing each other about 6 months ago, right after I got promoted and started working longer hours. Every time you claimed to be on a business trip, you were either with him at Hilton Hotel or partying at clubs. How many times did you lie to me? 10? 20? More. Her lips trembled, tears welling in her eyes. I didn't mean to, Ethan. I lost my head for a moment. We were about to get married, and I panicked. I wanted one last taste of freedom. Freedom? I gave a short laugh. I've already given you back your freedom. The wedding's off. I've already gotten the deposits back. I listed the apartment with the agent today. We'll split the money 50-50 once it's sold. What? Her voice shot up. You canceled the wedding? How could you? Do you know how long I've been planning this? My dress, my jewelry, everyone I invited. I watched her silently. She wasn't mentioning the other man anymore, not apologizing, just focused on her lost wedding, her lost face. Your dress is at the dry cleaners. It should be ready for pickup tomorrow. Your jewelry is in the jewelry box on the dresser. As for the guests you invited, you can inform them yourself. I stood up and picked up one of my suitcases. I'm staying at a hotel tonight. You can stay in the apartment until it's sold. I'll come back for the rest of my things in stages. No, Ethan, you can't just leave. She suddenly lunged forward and grabbed my arm. I was wrong. I was so wrong. Please give me another chance. I promise it'll never happen again. We can postpone the wedding. I'll do anything to make it up to you. I gently pulled my arm free. Scarlet White, the issue isn't just that you cheated. It's that I've seen who you really are. Your lies weren't impulsive. They were a calculated deception spanning half a year. You were fully aware, conscious, with every lie, every betrayal. I love the person I thought you were. Genuine, sincere, someone I could count on. But that person never really existed, did she? Her tears finally fell. No, Ethan, I do love you. I lost my way for a while. That's not what love is. I shook my head. Love is respect. It's loyalty. It's facing things together. What you call love was just settling because you didn't have a better option. I extended the handle of my suitcase and walked towards the door. She followed, opening her mouth to say something else, but my next words stopped her in her tracks. Oh, and starting today, don't contact me again. Regarding the apartment sale, we can communicate through our lawyers. The moment I closed the door behind me, I heard her choked sobs break out. But I didn't look back. On what was supposed to be our wedding day, I had already moved into a short-term rental apartment. Waking up in the morning, I lay in the unfamiliar bed as sunlight streamed in through the window. Today, I should have been putting on a suit, marrying the woman I loved dearly amidst everyone's blessings. My phone wouldn't stop buzzing with texts and calls from concerned friends and family. Last night, Scarlet White finally sent out the wedding cancellation notice, but without giving a reason. My friends and relatives all reached out, but I just replied, it's a long story. Let's talk another time. I didn't mention her betrayal, didn't vent my pain, not because I was being magnanimous, but because I felt this kind of humiliation wasn't worth sharing. At 10 in the morning, I received an iMessage from her. Ethan, I'm downstairs at our apartment. I need to talk to you. Please. I didn't reply. Half an hour later, she sent another. I know you're angry right now, and you have every right to be. But please give me a chance to explain and apologize in person. I still didn't reply. By the afternoon, the iMessages turned into phone calls. I hit the reject button. In the evening, she sent a long voice message. I played it and heard her choked voice. Ethan Miller, I am so sorry. I know apologizing doesn't fix anything, but I still want to say I'm sorry. I betrayed your trust and love. I'm a terrible person, and you deserve better. But I really don't want to end like this. You can hate me, you can punish me, but please don't just disappear. I'm waiting downstairs at the apartment. I'll wait however long it takes. I walked to the window and pulled back the curtain. A light rain had started outside, tapping against the glass with a soft patter. Just like my heart, shattered into 1,000 pieces, yet somehow still beating. I knew her, however long it takes, was just an exaggeration. But I still picked up my phone and typed out a message. Go home. Don't stand in the rain. We have nothing left to talk about. A few seconds later, she replied, No, I'm staying right here until you agree to see me. I put down my phone and opened my laptop. Over the past 2 days, I'd sent out a few resumes and had already received interview invitations from 2 companies. One in Shanghai, one in Seattle. Both were major corporations, offering salaries at least 30% higher than my current one. I chose the one in Seattle and scheduled the interview for next Wednesday. Late that night, my phone rang again. This time it wasn't her, but her best friend, Jessica. Ethan, Scarlet is still downstairs at your apartment, standing in the rain. I can't convince her to leave. Could you maybe? Jessica, This isn't my problem. I cut her off. So now she's worried? Why didn't she think about the consequences 6 months ago when she was fooling around with that guy? I know. Jessica sighed. You have every right to be angry. But she's really regretting it now. And she's falling apart. She even got down on one knee, Ethan. Right there in the lobby, the security guards saw everything. I was silent for a moment, then said, Jessica, please tell her for me that I will never, ever forgive betrayal. Tell her to save the act. Stop pretending. After hanging up, I turned off notifications for all my social media apps and went to take a shower. As the hot water washed over me, I finally allowed myself to cry. Not for her, but for the fool who had poured 5 years of his heart into it. That night, she stood downstairs for a full 8 hours, until 3 in the morning when Jessica finally dragged her away. I found out from the property manager, who called specifically to ask if I wanted to call the police. No need. Thank you, I said. She probably won't come back again. But I was wrong. For the next 3 days, she came every day, standing there from 9 in the morning until 11 at night. Rain or shine. I didn't go down to see her, just watch her from afar on the property's security camera feed. She wore a simple t-shirt and jeans, no elaborate makeup, her hair a mess. She stood there like a statue, her eyes vacant, staring towards the elevators. On the 4th day, Ryan showed up. That afternoon, I got a call from property management saying there were people arguing downstairs. I pulled up the remote security feed on my phone and saw Ryan grabbing Scarlet White's arm, apparently trying to drag her away forcefully. Are you crazy? Embarrassing yourself here for some broke programmer? His voice came through the feed. I thought you loved him so much. Turns out you just lost favor and want to crawl back. Scarlet White struggled. Let go of me. This has nothing to do with you. How does it have nothing to do with me? I spent so much money and time on you, and now you turn your back on me? Are you trying to dump me and go back to that penniless loser? I love Ethan Miller. I always have. Her voice was choked with tears. Being with you was just a mistake I made. Ryan sneered. Love? You don't even know what love is. You love how good he was to you, that feeling of being needed. But you never really loved him. If you did, how could you betray him? His words were like a knife, striking the truth. I turned off the monitor, unable to watch anymore. But a few minutes later, my phone rang. It was an unknown number. Is this Ethan Miller? A man's voice asked, arrogant and flippant. Speaking. Who's this? Ryan, he chuckled. Scarlet White's lover. Oh wait, former lover. I remained silent. Don't be so tense. I don't mean any harm, he continued. Just wanted to meet my rival. No, I guess former rival. How about a drink? My treat. Not interested, I said coldly. Don't refuse so quickly. I have some things I want to tell you about Scarlet White. Trust me, you'll be interested. I thought about it for a moment, then said, You pick the place. Half an hour later, we met at an upscale bar near the apartment. Ryan seemed even more arrogant in person than on the video feed. He wore a tailored suit, a Patek Philippe on his wrist, radiating an aura of money and power. Ethan Miller. We finally meet. He extended his hand. I didn't take it. He didn't seem to care, sitting down anyway. What are you drinking? Whiskey? Vodka? Long Island iced tea? I said. He raised an eyebrow. Interesting choice. Then he signaled the waiter. 1 Long Island iced tea and a Macallan 25. When the drinks arrived, he raised his glass. To our mutual ex. I didn't clink glasses, just took a sip of my drink. He took no offense, put his glass down, and pulled his phone out of his pocket. Want to see something interesting? He opened his photo gallery and pushed the phone towards me. On the screen were pictures of Scarlet White. Not casual snapshots, but the intimate kind, the kind no third party should ever see. I immediately looked away. Put away. Quite the gentleman, he said, pulling the phone back. Not curious about what she got up to with me. Not interested, I said coldly. Get to the point. Don't waste my time. He leaned back in his chair, studying me. Do you know why she cheated? I didn't answer. Because you were too good, he smirked. So good you were boring. Do you know how she described you? Reliable as a safe, boring as an instruction manual. She said being with you. She didn't feel like a woman, just someone being taken care of. I gripped my glass, my knuckles turning white. Don't get me wrong. I'm not here to gloat, he said, taking a sip of whiskey. I just want you to see her for who she really is. She's not worth your suffering. What exactly are you trying to say today? I looked him straight in the eye. What I'm saying is, he leaned forward, we could cooperate. Cooperate? Yes. A calculating glint flashed in his eyes. I'm tired of her. Actually, ready to dump her. But you know, for a guy like me, getting dumped by a woman doesn't look good. If I dump her, that's different. I scoffed. So, he spread his hands. I can help you get revenge on her. Let her taste some humiliation. At the same time, I get to end the relationship respectably. Win-win, right? You've miscalculated, I said, standing up. I don't need revenge on anyone. I just want to cut ties completely with the past. That includes you, and it includes her. I turned to leave, but he suddenly called out, Ethan Miller, stop pretending. You hate her guts, don't you? How does it feel to be betrayed? Don't you just want to rub her face in the dirt? I stopped and turned back to him. Ryan, I don't hate her. I just don't love her anymore. That's the difference between us. You played her because you don't understand what love is. I'm letting go because I finally see the boundaries of love. He blinked, then burst out laughing. How touching, Programmer Ethan. But let me give you some advice. Don't think too highly of yourself. Scarlet White is only coming back to you now because I don't want her anymore, and she's lost her support system. You're just her backup plan, get it? Think whatever you want, I retorted, turning away. Leaving the bar, the night air cleared some of the alcohol fuzz, but Ryan's words still echoed in my ears. The phrase backup plan stung. Maybe he was right. In her heart, I'd always just been an option. Approaching my apartment building, I saw Scarlet White still standing there from a distance. She looked exhausted, pale, her makeup long since ruined. Seeing me, she immediately jogged over and stopped in front of me. Ethan, you finally came to see me. Her voice trembled with emotion. I didn't come to see you. I walked around her, heading for the elevator. She followed. Please, just give me 5 minutes, okay? I have something really important to tell you. I pressed the elevator button without answering. Ryan talked to you, didn't he? She asked urgently. Don't believe anything he said. He's just trying to drive us apart. The elevator doors opened, and I stepped inside. She tried to follow, but I put my hand up to stop her. Ethan Miller, please. Tears streamed down her face. I know I was wrong. I really know I was wrong. Give me one more chance. I promise I'll never do it again. The elevator doors slowly closed, shutting out her cries. I closed my eyes and leaned against the cold elevator wall. For some reason, I didn't feel the satisfaction I'd expected, just a profound exhaustion. When I reached the door of my rental unit, I found an elegant box sitting in front of it. Opening it, I saw a watch, an Omega Seamaster, the exact model I'd always wanted but had put off buying because we were getting married. Underneath the box was a card. Ethan, I remember you always wanted this. I'm sorry, I was so selfish. If you're willing, please give me another chance. Forever yours, Scarlet. I picked up the watch, examined it under the light for a moment, then put it back in the box and pushed it aside by the door. I took my phone out of my pocket and sent a message to Jessica. Could you please tell Scarlet White to stop sending things? I won't accept them. The next morning, building management called. They said Scarlet White had collapsed downstairs and had been taken to the hospital. I asked for the name of the hospital, but didn't rush over immediately. I knew Jessica would take care of her, and my showing up would only complicate things. In the afternoon, I got a text from Jessica. Scarlet's okay, just exhausted and hasn't been eating much. The doctor said she's a bit malnourished and mildly dehydrated. I replied, thanks for letting me know. That evening, my phone vibrated with a missed call notification. The caller was Scarlet White's father. I hesitated for a moment, then called back. Ethan, it's me. Mr. White Sr. S. voice was heavy. Can we meet? I didn't refuse. Half an hour later, we met at a coffee shop near the hospital. Mr. White Sr. looked much older, with dark circles under his eyes. He ordered 2 coffees and pushed one towards me. Ethan, I don't quite know how to start, he sighed. Scarlet told us what happened. She made a mistake, a terrible mistake. I drank my coffee in silence. Her mother and I aren't here to plead for her, he said, looking me straight in the eye. We respect your decision. It's just, he paused. We're worried about her. She hasn't been doing well these past couple of days. The doctor says she's showing signs of mild depression. I'm sorry, but that has nothing to do with me. I put down my coffee cup. We're over. I know. He shook his head helplessly. I just wanted to ask if you'd be willing to see her one last time, give her a chance to say a proper goodbye. Maybe that would help her accept reality and start moving on. I thought for a moment, then nodded. All right, tomorrow afternoon. The next afternoon, I went to the hospital. Scarlet White was in a private room with several bouquets of flowers by the window. She was sitting on the bed, staring blankly out the window, only turning her head when she heard the door open. Seeing me, her eyes lit up for an instant, but then dimmed just as quickly. She must have sensed the finality on my face. Thank you for coming. Her voice was soft, almost a whisper. I sat down in the chair beside the bed, not too close. Your father said you wanted to talk. I got straight to the point. She nodded, her gaze shifting nervously. I wanted to apologize, not just for deceiving you, but for betraying your love. You know what the biggest irony is? I looked at her. You call me boring, safe, But those are the exact qualities you regret losing now. Because you know no one else will love you and put up with you unconditionally like I did. Tears slid down her cheeks. No, Ethan, that's exactly what I loved about you. Steady, reliable, devoted. I was just temporarily blinded by vanity. It doesn't matter anymore. I shook my head. I came to tell you, I'm leaving the city. I'm moving to Seattle next week for work. There's already an interested buyer for the house, and the contract should be signed soon. She snapped her head up, her eyes wide with panic. You're leaving? But your job, your friends, your whole life is here. There's nothing left here for me anymore. The words struck her like a knife to the heart. Tears immediately streamed down her face. She reached out to grab my arm, but I gently moved it away. Ethan Miller, please don't leave me, she choked out between sobs. I can wait for you, however long it takes. I'll change. I'll become the person you want me to be. I stood up. Watching her cry so wretchedly, I felt nothing. The love I once had was completely eroded by the betrayal, leaving only numbness. Scarlet White, there's no possibility for us anymore. It's not just because you cheated on me. It's because this whole thing made me see your true nature and my own. We're not right for each other. We never were. You need to understand, betrayal isn't a momentary lapse. It's a series of choices. Every lie, every date, every time you were intimate with him behind my back, you were choosing again and again to hurt me. That's not a mistake. That's character. I walked to the door and looked back at her one last time. I wish you all the best. Goodbye. No. She suddenly scrambled off the bed, rushed towards me, fell to her knees, and clung desperately to my legs. You can't just leave me like this. I can't live without you. I swear I'll change. I'll do anything to make it up to you. I bent down and gently pried her fingers off. Don't do this. Have you lost all your dignity? What good is dignity? She looked up, her eyes filled with tears. Without you, dignity means nothing to me. Hearing the commotion, a nurse rushed in. Seeing the scene, she quickly called security. With their help, I finally managed to leave the room. Walking out of the hospital entrance, the sunlight stung my eyes. I took a deep breath, feeling an inexplicable sense of relief. That was our farewell and our last meeting. At least, that's what I thought. Over the next few days, I threw myself into taking care of everything before I left. I managed to sell the house for slightly more than market value. As agreed, I transferred half the proceeds into Scarlet White's account. She never responded. Jessica told me Scarlet had been discharged from the hospital and had moved back in with her parents. I resigned from my job, and my colleagues threw me a small farewell party. Everyone knew the wedding was off, but nobody asked why. They all tactfully avoided the subject. Everything seemed to be heading in the right direction. I even started looking forward to my new life in Seattle, a new city, a new job, a new beginning. The night before I was set to leave, Jessica called, sounding frantic. Ethan, Scarlet's missing. Her parents have been looking for her all day and haven't found her. I frowned. Did she leave any kind of note? Just one text to me, saying she had to go take care of some things. Jessica's voice was thick with tears. I'm terrified she's going to do something stupid. Where could she have gone? I don't know. Jessica hesitated, but I have a horrible feeling she went after Ryan. She's been talking nonstop lately about making him pay. My heart sank. Given Scarlet White's current state of mind, if she went looking for Ryan, something irreversible could happen. Do you know where Ryan lives? I asked. Yes, it's a luxury apartment on the west side of town. I'll send you the address. After hanging up, I hesitated for a moment. This wasn't my problem. I'd already said my goodbyes to her. But if she actually did something drastic, I'd probably regret it forever. 20 minutes later, I was standing outside Ryan's apartment building. The doorman told me a young woman had gone up about an hour ago, looking extremely upset. My heart pounded as I rushed into the elevator. Standing outside Ryan's door, I could hear furious shouting inside. You destroyed my life. It was Scarlet White's voice, hysterical. Because of you, I lost the man I loved. Don't be an idiot, Scarlet White. Ryan's voice dripped with sarcasm. You didn't lose him because of me. You lost him because you're greedy and stupid. Look at yourself now, like some rabid animal. No wonder he'd rather escape to Seattle than ever see you again. Shut up, Scarlet White screamed. You monster. You never loved me. You just used me like a toy. Oh, please. Ryan sneered. Don't flatter yourself. Weren't you just using me to boost your ego? We used each other. I was about to knock when I heard a piercing scream, followed by a heavy thud. You're insane. Ryan's voice was suddenly terrified. You stabbed me. I pounded on the door immediately. Scarlet White, open up. There was no answer, just Ryan's agonized groans and the sound of things crashing inside. Scarlet White, it's me, Ethan Miller. Open the door. I yelled, hammering on the door. Suddenly, a gunshot cracked from inside the apartment, followed by dead silence. My blood froze. Ryan was wealthy. He could easily own a gun. But who fired the gun? Who got hit? Just as I braced myself to ram the door, it swung open slowly. Scarlet White stood in the doorway, clothes splattered with blood, clutching what looked like a kitchen knife. Her eyes were vacant, but a bizarre smile played on her lips. "Ethan, you came." Her voice was unervingly calm. "I solved our problem." I peered past her into the apartment. Ryan lay on the floor, a massive wound in his chest, blood gushing out. He was clutching a handgun. He must have fired the shot, but clearly missed. "Oh my God, Scarlet, what did you do?" I asked in shock. "I got revenge for you." She offered a chillingly innocent, childlike smile. "He hurt you, and he hurt me. He deserved it." I stared at Ryan's lifeless body on the floor, momentarily stunned, unsure how to react. Whatever he'd done wrong, he didn't deserve to die like this. "Scarlet, we need to call the police," I said, trying to keep my voice calm. "You have to face the consequences." "The police?" She tilted her head, her smile becoming even more disturbing. "No, Ethan, we don't need the police. We can leave, together. Go somewhere nobody knows us, and start fresh. Just like we planned." She stepped towards me, reaching out to touch my face, but I flinched back instinctively. The gesture clearly wounded her. Her smile froze, replaced by a look of hurt in her eyes. "You still can't forgive me, can you?" she whispered. "Even after I killed him for you, you still won't take me back." "Scarlet, you need to calm down." I tried to reason with her. "This isn't about forgiveness. You killed someone. It's a crime. We have to call the police, and you have to face justice." "Justice?" She laughed abruptly, a sound laced with despair. "I don't care about justice. I only care about you. If you can't forgive me, if we can't be together, then what's the point of me even being alive?" She raised the kitchen knife, the point aimed at her own throat. "Scarlet, no." I yelled, lunging to stop her, but I was too late. The blade slashed across her throat, blood spraying like a fountain. Her eyes flew wide, mouth open as if to speak, but only bloody froth bubbled out. I lunged forward, catching her as she collapsed, pressing my hands to the wound, trying desperately to staunch the flow. But there was too much blood, flowing too fast, spilling between my fingers. "Hang on, Scarlet. I'm calling an ambulance." I fumbled for my phone, hands shaking. She gripped my hand, shaking her head weakly. Her lips moved, forming silent words. I leaned closer, barely making out the words. "I love you. Remember, I really did love you." Then her eyes went vacant, her arm falling limp at her side. I knew she was gone. In that instant, all the hatred, all the pain vanished. All that remained was an indescribable emptiness, a profound sorrow. I held her body, tears streaming silently down my face. Scarlet White's funeral was held on a dreary, rainy Sunday. Given the circumstances, attendance was sparse, mostly her family, friends, and a few colleagues. I stood at the back of the crowd, watching her black and white portrait placed in the center of the memorial hall. In the photo, she was smiling radiantly, her eyes curved into crescents, just like when I first met her. The police investigation concluded that Scarlet White had indeed killed Ryan while suffering an extreme mental breakdown, subsequently taking her own life. A suicide note addressed to her parents was found in her purse, expressing her apologies and despair about facing the future. Ryan's death caused a huge uproar. The media dug up all sorts of scandals about him: business fraud, extramarital affairs, violent tendencies. The once celebrated financial whiz was now merely an object of public scorn and gossip. At the funeral, I didn't approach to offer condolences, just stood silently in a corner. I wasn't sure in what capacity I was attending: ex-fiancé, friend, or merely a witness. As the service was ending, Mr. White Sr. walked over to me and handed me an envelope. "This is from Scarlet. For you." The police found it in her room. I took the envelope and nodded. "Thank you, Mr. White Sr." Looked like he wanted to say more, but instead, he just patted my shoulder and turned away. Back at the Hilton Hotel, where I was staying temporarily, I sat by the window, watching the rain blur the city skyline. This city, where I had lived for so many years, now felt utterly strange and distant. I opened the envelope and took out the letter inside. The handwriting was familiar, but shakier than usual, as if written in extreme emotional turmoil. "Dearest Ethan Miller, by the time you read this, I might already be gone from this world. I don't know how to start this letter, nor how to end it. I just want you to know that my love for you never changed, even if I expressed it in the most foolish way. I know you'll never forgive me, and I don't deserve your forgiveness. I betrayed your trust and broke your heart, the biggest mistake of my life. I used to think love was just a feeling that if it felt right, everything would fall into place. But now I understand that love is more of a choice, a commitment made every day to choose the other person. I broke that promise, and it's something I can never mend. I don't know how you'll feel when you read this. Angry? Disgusted? Or just indifferent? Whatever it is, I hope you know this. I am using my life to atone for the mistakes I've made and to prove my love to you. I will take away the person who hurt you, and then take myself away too. This isn't to seek your forgiveness. It's the only form of redemption I can think of. Please don't grieve for me, and don't blame yourself for my choice. This was entirely my decision, and it has nothing to do with you. If there's another life, I hope we can meet again and love each other in a better way. Forever yours, Scarlet White. After reading the letter, I sat there for a long time, letting tears stream down my face. I wasn't crying for her death or for the love we once had, but for the sheer absurdity and tragedy of it all. Some mistakes in life, once made, can never be undone. Some wounds, once inflicted, can never truly heal. The next day, I boarded a flight to Seattle. As the plane slowly ascended, I watched the shrinking cityscape outside my window and felt a surprising sense of release. It was finally over. The pain of betrayal, the shadow of revenge. All of it was left behind with the city. A new life was about to begin.